Hi, and welcome back. In this short video, we will go through the differences between Miro and Mural in terms of sketchnoting capabilities. I've used an iPad for the past year and a half from whenever COVID started, so 2020. And I was using it a little bit before that to do visual sketchnoting in a program called Concepts. And so inside Concepts, I was just doing visual sketchnoting. As I've started using more and more tools like Miro and Mural, those digital whiteboards, I switched to test out some of their capabilities. This is a possible alternative to the pen and paper whiteboard bicablo techniques that you might have done in a room. Clearly, there are some drawbacks. We will see the capabilities of those two tools. So let's start by doing that. And so I created a brand new Miro board. There is nothing in it. And here on the left hand side, you'll notice the pen, and those are the tools that you can use to do some visual activities. With your mouse and from your computer, this stuff is pretty clunky. I guess you could create or try to add a visual aspect. You can definitely do things like maybe a little bit of visual directing of concepts that are emerging. Now, the clear advantage of this compared to the approach that I take with concepts is that people can collaborate inside Miro. What I do with concepts is purely graphical recording, you could frame it as. So I'm taking notes, sharing it with a group. If I want the group to interact with what I've created, I've in the past downloaded that image and uploaded it inside Miro. I'll try and upload like an example of that. That has some drawbacks by itself. The size of the file can be very large, and so and also the sizing of the file in terms of dimensions. So when you bring it inside Miro, and this applies to Mural as well, it becomes a bit of a kind of like a lower quality solution, but it might be what you can test out and see if it works for you. So those tools that are inside Miro and Mural can be used from a tablet. And again, I'm gonna show you my iPad, which is what I have. I'm pretty confident that Android has a similar capabilities. If someone wants to comment on that, more than welcome. So I'm gonna connect my iPad. I'm already on this board, and so you can see that there's like elements in here. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out my pen, and so those elements that you see, so those are objects. All those little elements are objects by themselves. And so when they were created in here, and by the way, if you want to go back to select or add post-it notes, you just kind of like click your usual buttons on the left. So those elements are singular elements. But now let's go back to the iPad. So this is from the browser. So if you're on your iPad, you have definitely a higher level of control. Just like draw a little line down here, and this is like with iPad, and this is from Chrome up here. So you've probably seen the stuff that we're doing, updates on the board, and small, medium, and let's put it red just so that it's the same, and large. Now as I'm doing this, people on the board can move and do things on those objects. So just be mindful of that. That could be a potential drawback. But here we are. We've added the so we have this like pen element. We have this highlighter element. So if you're used to the technique of adding background shades, well, you might be a little bit surprised that those layering of those elements is not as you might expect. So what might you expect? So let me show you real fast what I mean. When I open concepts, which is this visual app that I'm using, when I do stuff like an element like this, and I add some background shade to that element, it's pretty seamless. So there is a concept of layering, meaning that this layer, the layer of the person, is above the layer of the shade. That doesn't apply inside those tools in Miro. The response time from your iPad and what people sees from the feedback that I've heard is pretty good. So it's almost in real time. Deleting of elements that you added is somewhat limited, I want to say. So as you can see, if I just wanted to, again, imagine I just draw this person and I wanna, I don't know, hand this up, hand this down, and I wanted to change something in it, right? As I'm doing it right now, it's not quite working as I expected, right? You would expect, oh, maybe I can just delete a little bof that line. You can't do that. Just be aware of that. Again, to give you an example, if I'm in my visual kind of like facilitation element here, there is the concept of an eraser that can kind of like go in and erase stuff. So something to keep in mind in terms of a trade-off that you get. Again, I think it's pretty good to have it integrated. What I've done in the past is sketchnote as people go through brainstorming and capture ideas and add little visuals. So for that, I think this is more than adequate. And this is Miro. And so this is an example of what I meant. This is in Mural. We will look at that in a few moments. But those elements here are the sketch notes that I did while we were going through this exercise, same and different. And so we're now inside Mural. And again, I created a brand new board. And again, let's start from the web. Draw, there's a little option in here. The first thing you might notice is that everything else on the left kind of disappeared. And so you're gonna be, again, in this kind of like element where you are doing some drawing with your mice. There are a few more pen types: medium, highlighter, eraser, color. So let's try eraser, which has the functionality that is very similar to Miro, which is not quite deleting or erasing part of like your lines, but just erasing the whole element. The others are basically just adding a little bit of like sizing to those. And then we have the highlighter, which let's try and change it to brown. I don't remember if this one has layering. It's somewhat similar. Let's darken it out a bit. It's somewhat similar to the issues that we had with Miro. Maybe a little bit less accentuated. You can kind of like play with it, and it might it's a little bit more subtle. One of the major issues with Mural is that oftentimes the updates do not reflect on other participants, and this is a perfect example. The iPad does not show the sketch that I did. What I will try to do next is to close the app and open it up again. I'm gonna do a little switch, but that doesn't help. Eventually, what does help is to go back to all my boards and go back into the board again, and that's basically a refresh. I'm sure there are other ways to do that. Clearly one of the major issues and one of the main things to keep in mind. Anecdotally, I've heard this feedback from participants on browsers So just be aware of it, that people might get that. Usually a browser refresh fixes the issue, the sync issue. Definitely something that Mural still has to work out. Here we can see another example of that delay. I'm going to add a little cup in the browser. On the right hand side you can see that the cup is appearing, but sometimes it does that with a little bit of a delay, and sometimes elements are, like right now, they're not appearing at all, and then they are appearing with a little bit of a delay, disappearing, reappearing. Be aware of that. These elements are a single object, so that is somewhat an advantage. You don't need to group it yourself, it's already grouped. Same goes for the little human. So when you hit done on the iPad, those elements there, they become a single object. So this is one of the differences that you get inside. And so we're almost up with this short comparison. I'm gonna do a final test of the Mural Responsiveness. Just drawing this box, you can see it appears, it disappears. We've noticed this earlier with the cup, and I just wanted to call out as one of the major drawbacks of using Mural. I don't know if I would say that it's a showstopper, but it's definitely something you want to be aware of and be prepared during your visual facilitation with your groups. You can hit the Done Drawing button to mitigate a little bit of this problem and update all clients with your drawing. So I hope this was useful to you. Maybe you've discovered something new. If you have, leave a comment or let me know on Twitter, just over there. That's my handle. If you have any other further question, let me know. If you've experienced this with Android tables, leave a comment as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.